We're undercover at Canada's busiest airport, where a lucrative cargo is being unloaded.
David, to anybody else on the radio?
Yeah, I'm in the parking lot just above the Turkish cargo.
Before anyone can cash in, those picking up are gathering and seem nervous.
I think they're coming over.
Yeah, he's coming.
He's coming over.
Spot one of our cameras sending in security.
Back over and they'll start getting the dog.
You cannot do any camera here.
We have to get out.
We'll go.
But we aren't giving up. This is a months-long investigation just getting started. And it begins with a man and his best friend. This is Titus and his new owner, Adam.
Good boy, Titus.
Adam's dad died just months ago after a terrible battle with cancer. It left a hole in Adam's heart.
It took me a long time to be able to open up after and feel as though I could care and love somebody.
Adam decides now is the time for a puppy. He goes looking online.
I went on Kijiji that morning, then that evening he was in the car on the way home.
May I ask how much you paid?
So it was $3,500 cash.
Big money going to a seller who's no breeder.
It became clear to me that he had been shipped over. He had been imported from the Ukraine.
And Adam worries he's just become part of what he sees as a big problem: the mass importation of foreign puppies, sometimes with deadly consequences.
Toronto airport officials are investigating a gruesome discovery aboard a flight from Ukraine.
On board that flight, approximately 500 puppies, crammed tight into crates, often destined to be sold online in Canada. Dropped off nearly a day earlier in Ukraine, left in the blistering sun. Nearly 40 of them would die en route, reportedly dumped in garbage bags at Toronto's Pearson Airport.
I think that I was poorly informed. We as Canadians have to look at our role in it in terms of our laws allowing for it to happen and for the demand of consumers like me that allow for these dogs to then be purchased here in this country.
Just like Adam, we have questions for the government. But first, we want to understand who's making money, lots of it, selling foreign puppies in Canada.
Chihuahua puppy for sale. Golden Labrador, French Bulldog puppies, $3,000, $1,700, $2,700.
Our producers are going to pay these sellers a visit.
Hey, Camlet, I'll get you to hold this one.
Using hidden camera. We're even tracking down Adam's seller. But when we asked to see her puppies, she's suddenly playing hard to get. So while they wait, we're at the University of Guelph's Vet College.
Hey, Scott.
Hey.
So you're the guy who knows how easy it is to get a dog into this country.
Well, it's incredibly easy. It's easier to bring a dog in than a case of beer.
Dr. Scott Weiss tracks the sale of imported puppies.
Do you know how many puppies come into this country?
Well, we know it's in the thousands. How many thousands is it? We just have no idea.
But we should know, he says. One thing we do know, there are dozens of puppy mills in Ukraine offering to sell litters of puppies to Canadian brokers.
Scott, I want to show you some video.
We get our hands on this video showing what it's like for some dogs used for breeding in Ukraine.
Not very good conditions, no cleaning, not anything you'd want to house, any type of animal. And what does that do for that dog's behavioral status and its health status?
And we learn planes with puppies from Eastern Europe have been arriving weekly with big profit potential.
Well, we're talking millions in one shipment, potentially.
So how many shipments are there? We asked the Canadian Food Inspection Agency. Incredibly, they tell us they don't know how many puppies are coming in or where they're going. But our hidden camera team is doing better.
Okay, so we're gonna go see a puppy.
Meeting up with Kijiji puppy sellers.
Oh, she's so cute.
We've selected only sellers where mom dog is nowhere to be seen. A clue, we're told, to help spot foreign-born puppies.
Where does the mom come from?
I don't know off the top of my head.
At another seller,
My wife's sister does it.
we're showing the video to Dr. Scott.
And someone can make a good story, right? Where are mom and dad is the question I'd always ask.
And this man is eager to sell after just a short text conversation.
I thought you guys were taking it, that's why I packed the stuff. That's what she
Oh, no, just a visit.
Scott says reputable sellers should have way more questions.
Have you had a dog before?
Yeah. So I have a poodle now.
What color?
White.
What color is it? As opposed to, it's a dog like other dogs. Why do you want another dog?
Do you have their paperwork just to show that they've been vaccinated?
Yeah, I do. If you put a deposit down, I'll give you the puppy's vet record as sort of your receipt.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm not getting clear answers. I don't know about the health status of the parents. I don't really know how they came here.
This seller is clear about one thing.
Sorry, where did she come from?
She's from Ukraine.
Oh, from Ukraine.
Do you know much about like her parents or anything?
Yeah, they're like healthy, like, I don't know, like.
And when they come from Ukraine, like, is it safe over there? Is it healthy and everything?
Yeah, like custom clear him. Then like, you have to like visit the vet like at the custom.
Yeah.
Well, it cleared all the Canadian rules and it got through customs without realizing that there really aren't any. The dog was alive. That's pretty much the bare minimum to get through it.
Scott says the federal government needs to tighten up the rules.
We don't have testing requirements for diseases. We don't have quarantine practices. We need to know, here's what the risks are, and here's how we can mitigate those risks.
Dr. Scott is not alone. Canada's top vet association has been warning for years that puppy mill imports bring in diseases that may directly impact animal and human health. But Adam Seller assures him Titus was vaccinated. So we ask his vet, Dr. Carolyn Woodward, to check out the puppy's records.
It looks sketchy. I realized that his first vaccine was given to him around 5 weeks of age, almost 6 weeks, which is really, really young to give a vaccine to a dog. It just didn't make any sense and it didn't sound right.
That's why Titus is heading to the lab, getting a blood test to find out. What about all those other puppies?
The CFIA tells us that they actually don't keep a central database for how many dogs are being imported commercially into this country. Does that surprise you?
That is surprising. It's surprising and disappointing that we don't regulate that more.
That's exactly what Dr. Scott is fighting for.
If I can bring in 200 dogs from somewhere and sell them for $5,000, that's a lot of money. So if I build in a couple thousand for a fine and I build in 10, 20, 50 dead dogs, if I can still make a profit, that doesn't necessarily dissuade me if I'm an unethical importer.
I don't understand how 500 dogs coming in on a plane would not raise red flags with Canada.
Well, our red flags are up. We just got a tip that this flight landing in Toronto has dozens of Ukrainian puppies on board. We're headed to see who picks them up, and joining our stakeout is Abby Lorenzen.
You gonna walk me through this process?
I am.
Abby's a professional dog handler and was watching when Canadian sellers came to pick up 500 plus puppies here just weeks earlier.
You could hear them, like you could just hear the puppies whining. They walk in and they just hand in their import permits to the cargo workers, like no care in the world, like they're just picking up like bulk mail. You just smell death.
And so she knows what to watch out for now.
Look, there's the dogs right there, Dave.
Oh. Our intel says 7 people will collect up to 70 puppies.
You'll see them on Kijiji and some other third-party website.
Like how quickly?
Tonight, tomorrow morning.
Really?
Yeah.
Someone's just gone into there.
Yeah, the gray dress.
As the sun sets, there on the cargo ramp are their dogs. It feels like 37 degrees right now. The dogs are locked up, waiting until the paperwork clears. The people picking them up, they look agitated too. Know they're being filmed.
And then they'll be back over and they'll start getting the dogs.
And ask security to throw our camera out.
You cannot do any camera here.
But as the puppies are picked up, this isn't our only camera.
Okay, I've got us all three on the scene.
Uh-oh, I see two
And they're
crates.
coming out on the side that you're going to be able to see them.
As they leave,
You're gonna get on the 401 here in a second, I think.
we follow.
The Lexus and the pickup truck, they're staying together right now. They're taking 427 northbound now.
But they speed up, way up.
Not gonna drop back.
So we step back. It's just too dangerous. But the trail isn't cold. Our hidden camera team just made contact with a key player.
You know so well. So where did you get him from?
Well, my mom breeds them.
Her mom. Just weeks ago, a puppy buyer says he was told a very different story.
It became clear to me that he had been shipped over. He had been imported from the Ukraine.
This seller also told Adam that puppy had all his shots. His vet found that claim sketchy. What will the seller tell us?
Could I be able to see his paperwork showing the vaccine?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Well, our team looks closely at the paperwork and catches a hole in the seller's story.
Tag is from Ukraine?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, he had like his vaccinations in Ukraine.
Oh, so he's from Ukraine?
Yeah.
There you go. Thank you so much.
Another puppy imported from Eastern Europe. Remember, this is legal, and the seller reassures us.
Does he have his shots and everything?
Yeah. So he has shots. So he has 2 puppy boosters and he's been given rabies.
That's exactly what she said to Adam. We're testing that claim by testing Titus.
Adam, test results are in from the lab. You want to take a look?
I'd love to.
So what that says is that Titus either was never vaccinated against rabies or was vaccinated way too young for it to be effective.
So I just feel misled. This isn't what I was told at all. And more importantly, it wasn't what the documentation led me to believe. And to me, that is the more concerning issue that was allowed to happen.
Do you think you deserve answers from the seller?
I feel like I deserve answers from the system.
The CFIA runs that system. They say it's up to the buyer to ask key questions to avoid supporting puppy mills. Back in July, they paused the import of puppies under 8 months of age from Ukraine and say there have been no significant transport incidents since that ban. But top vet Scott Weiss says it's not enough.
Dogs are low on the priority.
He's convinced puppy exporters are already using other Eastern European hubs to transport puppies to Canada.
It's a matter of, okay, how do we make sure animals are coming in good conditions? How are we limiting sick animals coming in?
And remember Adam's seller?
Well, he had like his vaccinations in Ukraine.
We ask her about Titus's inaccurate vaccine records. She says she's just a seller, claims she doesn't import, and says she can't be responsible for allegedly fake medical records. Adam now says he shouldn't have bought a puppy off Kijiji.
It was something that I knew I should have taken more time on.
In spite of it all, he's so happy with Titus.
The companionship that dogs can provide can be a true healing presence in somebody's life. I think he has really helped me in that and been an important part of my life so far.